Okay, so this is where things can get quite confusing and you really need to understand the rules that we're looking at. So very quickly before we get into these questions, just want to go through a couple of the rules. Now, really the rule that hurts everybody's head and is quite difficult to understand is if you have a look at question 5a here, you have 2, take away, -3. Now, firstly, the textbook puts all of its negative numbers in brackets. Okay, that can seem quite confusing. The only reason why they do it is to show you that it's an actual negative number. Okay, what they don't do very well is that if you start with a negative number like we have here, they don't put that number in brackets. Okay, so I'm not sure why they do that, but if there is a negative number that you can see, okay, in brackets, it's only in brackets to show you that it's a negative. Okay, so don't get confused by the brackets. It doesn't change the normal order of operations or anything like that. Just understand that the textbook is putting it there because of that. Now, in this question, we have 2, take away, -3. When you have a negative operation, so subtraction, and a negative number, all of a sudden, that negative number turns into a positive. Okay? Now, I know that that is quite difficult to understand. The only way that I can describe it to you is it's like a double negative. Okay? When you have a double negative, you end up with a positive. Okay? You can ask your English teacher next time you have a class to give you a double negative. There are a couple in the English language, and it makes a little bit more sense when you hear it, but the important thing is just to remember this rule and to follow it. If you follow it, you'll have no problems at all, and you just need to look out for it. So if we've got a negative operation, so subtraction, and a negative number, it turns into a positive. Okay? Now up here we have 3, and this is question 3, by the way. We're going to do A and B from question 3. We have 3 plus -2. Okay? So I've got $3 in my pocket. Okay, my friend comes along to me and he says, listen, okay, I need you to take this, okay, because it's plus, you're getting it. I need you to take this $2 debt, okay? So that means you start with $3 and then you add -$2, which means that you're left with $1, okay? Can be quite difficult to understand, I know that, but just think of it as you're adding a debt, okay? So you have $3 and then you add a debt of $2 and you're left with $1. Here we have $1 and we're adding a debt of -$4, okay? So that means that if I have a debt of -$4 and I have $1 to pay off that debt, then I still owe -3. Okay? Moving on to question 5. Now this is where it gets trickier again because we have these double negatives. Okay? So if you see a subtraction sign with a negative number, easiest way to do it, cross this out and put +3. Okay? So 2 plus 3 equals 5. Alright? Pretty simple. Okay? It turns it in to a positive. Here we have -5 take away -1. So once again we've got a double negative. So we cross these two out and put +1. Now if I owe someone $5 and I pay back $1, I end up owing them $4. Okay? Here, question 7. Okay, we just have more operations. Okay? So I start with $3 and then I add a debt of $2, which means that I'm left with $1. Now, I've got $1 and I add a debt of -1, which means that it wipes out my $1 and I'm left with 0. Okay? 7G. I owe $9. Then I take away -19. Okay, so all of a sudden this turns into a positive because we have a subtraction sign and also a negative number. Okay, so if I owe someone $19 and I add I pay back $19, I have $10 left. Okay, so 10 plus then a debt of $16. Well, my positive $10 will knock out the 1 in here, which leaves me with negative 6. Okay. All right, we'll have a look at some problems. So in this problem solving question, question 11, here is the profit graph showing the profit for each month of the first half of the year for a bakery shop. So what is the profit for February? Okay, so we've got our months along here. Here we have profit, which is in thousands. Okay, so for February, our bar goes up to 8, which means that our profit for the month of February was 8,000. In April they lost money, so it was negative 6,000. And here in B it says, what is the overall profit for the 6 months? So we've got January to June. Now, once again, really important that an easy way to do this is add up all of the months where they made money. Okay, so they made 2,000 in January, 8,000 in February, 4,000 in March, and 2,000 in June. We could add those up, okay, in one column. So 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 4 is 14, plus 2 is 16. So they made a total of, in the 6 months, they made a total profit of $16,000. And now let's have a look at how much they lost. In April and May, they were the only 2 months that they lost money. In those 2 months, though, they lost 6,000 in one month, they lost 8,000 in the other month. So that means they lost a total of 14,000. So if we take our loss away from our profit, we end up with $2,000. Okay. And that was their profit for 6 months. Okay. All done. Very good.